Hi there everyone, I wanted to take you through a genesis of a piece again. I've got a concert in about a month and a half, all-American program. We actually have the great pleasure of playing on Sunday the 4th of July, Independence Day, and in celebration of that I thought I would put together an all-American concert. Now you've actually heard a couple of the pieces already, in particular the 5 old American songs for clarinet and organ, and you would have heard me earlier just fiddling around on that. Now I wanted to look at the Bernstein and Copland sonatas. Now I know everyone knows the Bernstein quite well. Not sure how many are familiar with the Copland Sonata. Now it's been a long time since I've played the Copland Sonata, a good at least 10 years to be quite honest. Now I love this sonata. There's actually a lot of similarities between this sonata and the clarinet concerto Aaron Copland wrote for Benny Goodman. In particular, and also I think they're from a period Aaron Copland was in where he wrote Appalachian Spring, because the beginning is quite Appalachian Springy. It's just freely singing, and I love it. I really feel actually that there's certain pieces of music that are really, really uplifting to play, and I think that Aaron Copland's music is indicative of that. This sonata is just amazing. It was originally written for violin and piano, and it was actually transcribed by the composer himself. And I think there's actually some notes actually in the part which are quite interesting. So it's a transcription of his sonata for violin and piano, 1942-93. It was actually dedicated to a Lieutenant Harry Dunham, who was a friend and was killed in action in the South Pacific in 1943. And Copland actually says that it's one of the least complex pieces he'd ever written. And when you look at the works, his works from the early 1940s, Fanfare for the Common Man, Rodeo, seem to be going through a pretty plain period. And the violin sonata of 1943 is well on the way to Appalachian Spring, which was actually composed the next year. So the music material is very plain, there's no complexities, it's just an uncomplicated and direct statement of rather uncomplicated and direct music ideas that I enjoyed developing. This little pretense to virtuosity. So the piano writing is deliberately spare, and the first movement alternates between the very slow lyrical and the almost bluesy kind of sort of rapid paced. And later on, as I go through this, I'm going to show you bluesy kind of elements that are really mirrored in the clarinet concerto. Now the work was actually transposed down a major third to really bring the Shalmo register out in force. Tim Paradise suggested the transcription, and Michael Webster was also consulted. And the transcription was first performed in 1986 by Michael Webster and pianist Barry Snyder. So, you know, it's not, I don't think, a main piece in the clarinet repertoire like the Bernstein would be, but I think it deserves to be heard. I think it's a wonderful piece of music. So the beginning is just on Andante Semplice, 72, freely singing. So this is where your lyrical legato comes in, and also your throat tone covered fingerings. See, it's not quite. A bit faster. Played clarinet for a few days, so I'm a bit rusty. See if I can't improve on that. Notice actually it's almost the same speed as the clarinet concerto at the beginning as well, so. Now, this next bit, this next bit is where you get your sort of jazzy kind of bluesy kind of motif, which is very similar to that of the clarinet concerto. Etc. But it's gradually increasing through here. And then you get into this very Appalachian-y spring-like. Probably where I would actually photocopy the page, because the page turn, you'd never make it. And here, this is very, this next bit, the Pew Mosso at 55, again, has Appalachian Spring overtones and also the clarinet concerto overtones in its sort of arpeggiatic kind of writing. I mean, I would be a little bit tempted